Hey friends, Wayne over here at the Ram Man Inc. Don't forget the ink. Time, date, stamp. Complete. So, what we've got here is a Dana 60 hub. Of course, they probably made about 50 million. So, there's your standard Dana 60 hub that you would find on the rear axle for sure of a Dodge truck, Ford truck, or whatever truck. And what's really cool is it uses a factory rotor like the Dodges for the 2002 up. Great big old rotor. And as you can see, basically it's a plate system located with 3 big old 1/2 inch 20 bolts and the pedestals. Ford tried in the 70s. Chrysler did also, messing around with rear disc brakes. All that done in 74 and 75 was really done out of just kind of pressure. And they didn't work out very well. And Cadillac, the big calipers of the mid-70s, Cadillac was the first people that perfected rear disc brakes. Once again, Lincoln and Mopar tried on the Imperial and stuff, 73, 4, and 5, and fooled around with it, but they just didn't work that good. These GM calipers have basically got 2.5 inch pistons in them, 275. Got about 6 square inches of surface area. That's where you get your power from. And that's what people don't understand about disc brakes and the drum brakes. So, if you're moving 500 psi down to a 1 inch wheel cylinder, you've got 500 psi. But when you run 500 psi to something like this, multiplied by the surface area of the piston, about 6 inches. So 500 going in and 3,000 coming out. That's your squeeze. That's why you gotta have a whole lot of pressure to run disc brakes. Because disc brakes cool fast. They have a lot of stopping capability. But as far as physics is concerned, they're quite inefficient. That's why you gotta put power into them. Power assist, pistons, hydraulics. They're inefficient. Trying to stop something by squeezing here takes an awful lot of force. But you know what? Just like when I used to be mean and stick the sticks in the bicycles of the kids, that's what drum brakes effectively do. Wedge, slam, and that's why you have lockup and skid. Because drum brakes, at a certain point, they self-energize. They have the kinetic energy of rotating. They reach and they lock up. They are extremely efficient. Now, they don't cool very well. And that's why we have disc brakes. So, these GM calipers are fantastic units. These are brand new units with the emergency brake levers. See right here? Your emergency brake cable just comes right in here, and then you just They all have that barrel on the end. Now you may have to adjust your emergency brake cable. You know, they usually have those little crimped on ends, cable ends, or they're just soldered. And made a video years ago. So you can move that barrel. You can do whatever you want to do. And I will tell you something else too, that every now and then we get these guys that say, well, I don't think my shit fits. Well, you probably don't know what you're doing. But I will tell you something. If you cannot operate this machine right here, you probably shouldn't be doing a rear disc brake. It's beyond your capability, and you need to just concede that you really are helpless and can't do nothing, and take it to somebody that does know how to operate this machine. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'll tell you. The rear disc brake kit is extremely easy. This is made for, well, I'm not sure an idiot could do it. A medical diagnosed idiot with an IQ of like 51 to 69, but anybody a little bit smarter than that can probably figure this out. Here's your Dana 60 hub. Look how simple this is. You take the brakes off and you bolt this bracket on. You take the brakes off and you bolt this bracket on. I don't know if you can tell, but all this was engineered pretty well. Number one, it's simple. Number two, things just clear. Everything's measured out specifically. The plates only go on one way. So, what did I mean about machinery? I'll show you what I mean. In order to do this right, comes with your pedestals. You might need to take 10, 20 thousandths off your pedestals so they really fit nice on your axle. Axles are not identical. Contrary to what you think, this surface area compared to the one next door to it in the wrecking yard is probably not within 10 thousandths. They didn't give a shit. And every now and then I'll get some. I can't get my pedestals to fit, Wayne. Oh my God. I mean, come on now. If you're calling up Kate and telling her that you can't get your pedestals to fit, well, how should I say it? Your critical thinking skills and your problem solving skills need reinforcement. So, here's an old Dana 60 axle. I hacked off the end off of one of the nastiest ones I had out of a 63 Dodge rear axle, D100. So, here's your Dana 60. Now, what I meant by that is, if you'll notice, because I wanted a good fit, here's my 3 pedestals, is I came in here. So, that they really, really fit good, and they need to fit flush and flat. And you can check it by, if you drop your bolt in first thing, if it sits down vertically, you're good to go. If it sits down some shit like that and won't go, well then it won't go. And this is what I meant by being able to operate this machine. Here's how you do it if you've never used one. And you'll be surprised that it's more rapid than you think. This is not an all day to clean off 3 little spots. Now you can use this. You might use some other kind of power device. But it don't take much. It don't take much, so, you know. If you can't get this plate on, and you can't put these pedestals on, you got no business, none whatsoever, working on a wheeled vehicle, for adults at least. Them little carts that run around the living room, you probably work on those. The little kitty carts out in the front yard, maybe. To be determined. If you can't get these on with the plate, don't call Kate. You call your wife and have her come do it for you. It's all right, call her at work. She'll come home from the office and do it for you. That's part 1. God bless you. God bless America. And happy Moparing.